Some of you are crying right now. Some of you are bleeding. Some of you feel like quitting. But I need you to understand something. The setback is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your comeback. You see, the reason why most people give up is not because they don't have talent. It's not because they don't have dreams. It's because when life punches them in the mouth, they stay down. But listen to me, the comeback is always greater than the setback. Every champion you've ever looked up to, every legend, every success story, they had to fall before they flew. You don't build strength in comfort. You build it into chaos. I was homeless. I slept in abandoned buildings, ate out of trash cans. I failed over and over again. But I didn't let the failure define me. I used it. I turned that pain into fuel. I turned that setback into my comeback. So here's what I need from you. Stop playing the victim. Stop saying, why me? And start saying, try me. The setback was a lesson. The pain was a message. It's time for you to rise up and rewrite your story. You are not your setback. You are not your failure. You are not that mistake you made 5 years ago, 10 years ago, yesterday. I don't care what your past looks like. I care about how you respond to it. Too many of you are walking around with your head down, acting like your past has the final say in your life. Acting like your bad decision, your failure, your loss, your pain, like that defines you. But let me tell you something right now, it doesn't. Listen to me, your setback is real. I'm not here to tell you it didn't happen. You got hurt, that's real. You got fired, that's real. Your family turned their back on you, that's real. You failed that test, that business collapsed, that relationship ended. Yeah, all of that is real. I'm not asking you to pretend it didn't happen. But I'm asking you to don't become the failure. Don't become the disappointment. Don't become the rejection. Because what happens to you is one thing, but what you do next, that's everything. See, the problem is not the setback. The problem is when the setback becomes your identity. When you start waking up and saying, I'm a failure. No, you're not. You failed, but you're not a failure. There's a difference. Just like getting wet doesn't make you water. Falling doesn't make you done. You've got to separate what happened to you from who you are. You've got to stop letting one moment of weakness rewrite your story, your whole life. Let me give it to you straight. The most successful people in the world, they've all been through setbacks. You think Oprah didn't have a setback? You think Elon Musk didn't fail? You think Michael Jordan didn't get cut? Come on. Every great comeback started with a low point. Every breakthrough started with a breakdown. It's not about avoiding the fall. It's about how you respond when you hit the floor. You gotta make a decision. What's your next move gonna be? That's the only thing you can control. Not the storm, not the setback, not the betrayal, not the loss, but your response. That's on you. You can't control what they did, but you control what you do. You can control your grind. You can control your attitude. You can control your effort. You can say, yeah, I'm hurt, but I'm still here. Yeah, I lost, but I'm not done. Yeah, they counted me out, but I'm counting me in. It's your response that separates average from great. Most people stay down. Most people give up. Most people give up. Most people let one bad chapter define the whole book. But you're not most people. You've got something different inside you. You've got that fire. You've got that drive. You've got that reason, that why that won't let you quit. You've got to tap into that. You've got to dig deep and remind yourself of who you are. You've got to say, this setback is just fuel. I'm going to use it. I'm going to turn it into fire. You have to reframe the way you see failure. You didn't lose. You learned. You didn't fall behind. You got to set up for your comeback. That door closed. Good. You didn't belong in that room. They rejected you. Good. They couldn't see your value. They couldn't see your value. The plan didn't work. Good. Now you got a better one. You got to stop taking losses personally and start taking them purposefully. Everything you've been through is preparing you. Every scar is a story of survival. Every no you heard just brought you one step closer to your yeah, but none of that matters if you don't respond with fight, with hunger, with grit. See, you can't just want it. You've got to be willing to bleed for it. Everybody wants success until they see what it costs. And setbacks, that's part of the price. Nobody climbs to the top without struggle. So if you've been knocked down, congratulations, you're in the game now. Now it's time to show what you're made of. Now it's time to rise. And don't just rise for you. Rise for everyone watching you. Rise for your family, your kids, your future, your legacy. Somebody's waiting on you to get back up. Somebody's hope is tied to your story. Your response could change more than just your life. It could change generations. So don't you dare stay down. Don't you dare fold. Respond like a champion. Respond like a champion. Respond like someone who knows what they're worth. Respond like someone who's got something to prove. Not to them, but to you. You are not your setback. You are your response. You are the choice you make after the fall. So get up, wipe your face, fix your focus, and respond with everything you got. Pain is temporary. I need you to hear me clearly. That pain you're feeling right now, that heartache, that frustration, that exhaustion, it's real, but it's not forever. It may last for a minute. It may last for an hour. It may even stretch into days or weeks, but it will pass. Your body will heal. Your mind will recover. Your spirit will rise. Pain has a shelf life. But quitting doesn't go away. Quitting follows you. Quitting lives with you. Quitting becomes part of your DNA if you let it. That decision to stop, that becomes permanent. See, most people don't understand that. Most people feel the pain and think, this is it. The pain isn't the enemy, it's the process. The pain is part of the journey. You don't become a warrior. You become something powerful when you go through the fire and choose not to run from it. Every great person you admire had to suffer, had to sacrifice, had to endure more than they thought they could. And they kept going anyway. I get it, you're tired, you're hurting. Life hit you harder than you expected. You put your all into something and it didn't work out. Maybe you trained for months and still lost the game. Maybe you gave your love to someone who didn't give it back. Maybe you started the business and it crashed. Maybe you studied all night and still failed the exam. I'm not telling you to ignore the pain. I'm telling you to outlast it. I'm telling you to understand that it's temporary. What you feel now is not what you'll feel forever unless you quit. Because here's the truth. You can quit, yeah, nobody's stopping you. You can walk away. You can throw in the towel. But the minute you do, you plant a seed that said, when it gets hard, I give up. And that seed doesn't just die with that moment, it grows. The next time something gets tough, you remember the last time you quit, and it gets easier to quit again. You train yourself to take the exit every time pressure shows up. But when you push through, when you go just a little longer, when you cry and keep walking, when you feel broken and still show up, that becomes part of you too. That builds character. That builds mental toughness. That builds discipline. And the next time you're in pain, something in you will say, I've been here before. I didn't quit last time, and I'm not quitting now. Let me be real with you. There were nights I cried myself to sleep. There were days I wanted to give up on everything, on school, on speaking, on life. There were moments I felt like it wasn't worth it, but I remember something. I could live with the pain of fighting through it, but I could never live with the regret of giving up. Because quitting doesn't just stop the pain, it stops the problem, it stops the probe. No, it shuts the door on the blessing that was waiting for you on the other side. You don't know what's on the other side of your pain. You don't know what tomorrow holds. What if the opportunity was coming next week, but you gave up today? What if the person who was going to believe in you was about to show up, but you quit right before they saw your breakthrough? What if everything you prayed for, everything you've worked for, everything you've cried for? What if it's right there, but the only way to get it is to walk through the pain? I'm telling you, pain is part of the process. You want success without struggle, it doesn't exist. You want greatness without discomfort, that's a fantasy. You want to lead, to inspire, to leave a legacy? You better get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because pressure creates diamond, heat forges steel, and pain builds champion. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Life isn't testing you to see if you'll break. It's testing you to see if you'll rise. And if you think quitting will make the pain go away, let me tell you, it won't. It'll just change the pain. Now it's regret. Now it's wondering, oh, what if? Now it's explaining to yourself every day why you didn't keep going. That kind of pain, it doesn't heal. It lingers. It shows up when you're alone. It whispers to you when you're quiet. It reminds you of what could have been, if only you'd held on a little longer. You've come too far to quit now. You sacrificed too much to walk away. The pain you're in right now is shaping you, is molding you. You're in the gym of life, and every rep, every strain, every tear is making you stronger. So don't waste it. Don't throw it away, because one day you're going to look back, and the pain will be gone. But the strength you built from surviving it, that stays with you forever. The comeback doesn't start when everything lined perfectly. It doesn't start when you get a second chance handed to. It doesn't start when someone shows up to save you. The comeback begins the moment you stop pointing fingers. The moment you stop blaming your parents, your coach, your boss, your past, your environment, your trauma. That's when the comeback begins. The second you stop saying it's their fault and start asking them, what can I do? That's the moment everything changes. Let me be real with you. As long as you're blaming, you're bleeding. As long as you're blaming, you're stuck. You can't build and blame at the same time. You can't rise and complain in the same breath. You can't walk forward while looking backward. I'm telling you, some of you aren't broken. You're just distracted. Distracted by what hurt you. Distracted by who left. Distracted by what went wrong. And you keep rehearsing the pain, reliving the setback, retelling the story like it's still happening. But listen, the moment you stop repeating the problem and start rebuilding the foundation, that's when your comeback begins. I get it. You didn't deserve what happened to you. You didn't sign up for the pain. You didn't ask to be abandoned. You didn't want to go through the trauma. But I need you to understand something. It may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. Let me say that again. It may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. Why? Because no one's coming to fix it for you. No one's going to carry you out of that pit. And even if they wanted to, they can't. This comeback, it's got to come from you. The people you're blaming, they've moved on, they're sleeping fine, they're living their life. Meanwhile, you're still stuck in a chapter they wrote for you. And I'm here to tell you it's time to take the pen back. It's time to wait your own comeback. That means you stop waiting for apologies. Stop waiting for recognition. Stop waiting for life to get fair. It's never been fair. You've got to build in the unfair. Build in the unfair. Build when no one sees it. No one claps for it. No one believes in it but you. You want your comeback? Then build it. With your bare hands if you have to. With tears in your eyes if you must. Brick by brick. Day by day. Thought by thought. It starts when you look in the mirror and say, I'm not blaming anybody else for how this story ends. You start asking different questions. Not a why me, but what now? Not whose fault is this, but a what's the next move? Not who's going to save me, but how do I save myself? You got to become the architect of your future, not the prisoner of your past. You've got to step into the fire and say, I'm building something in this heat. That heartbreak, use it. That betrayal, fuel. That failure, blueprint. All of it can serve you, but only if you stop using it as an excuse and start using it as energy. Too many people are waiting for permission to rebuild. You don't need permission. You need commitment. You need to get up and say, I'm done blaming. I'm done explaining. I'm building now. It's not going to be easy. Building is harder than blaming. Blaming is passive. Blaming lets you off the hook. It feels good for a moment. But building's painful. Building takes work. It takes time. It's lonely. It's exhausting. But it's the only path that leads to the life you say you want. Every champion had to make this decision. Every leader. Every comeback story you admire. It started with ownership. They stopped blaming the system. They stopped blaming the world. They took control of the one thing they had, themselves. When you decide to build, you reclaim your power. You stop giving your energy away to the past. You stop living your life trying to prove someone wrong or waiting for someone to admit they hurt you. You stop needing validation because you become your validation. You wake up every day and say, this life, I'm designing it. This future, I'm constructing it. This comeback, I'm making it happen with whatever I've got. Don't worry about how long it takes. Don't worry about how far behind you are. Don't worry about what they think. Just start building, lay that first brick. Make that call. Study that book. Apologize to yourself for all the years you let blame hold you back. Then start moving. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get clearer. You're going to get better. But none of that happens until you decide to stop blaming and start building. Nobody owes you your comeback. It's not a gift. It's not a reward. It's a construction project. And it starts the moment you pick up the hammer and say, let's go. Success is not about who's the smartest. It's not about who's the most gifted. It's not about who had the best start in life. I've seen the most talented people lose because they couldn't stay consistent. I've seen people with all the tools, all the potential, all the support fall short because they didn't have the discipline to show up every single day. Meanwhile, I've watched people with no special skills, no connections, nothing handed to them, rise to the top simply because they refuse to stop. Success doesn't ask who's talented. It asks, so standing, you say you want to come back, but every time it gets hard, you pull back. Every time life pushes, you fold. You want the testimony without the test. You want the story without the struggle. But that's not how it works. You can't have a comeback if you quit in the middle. You can't rise if you stop at rock bottom. You can't win the race if you leave the track before the finish line. Comebacks don't happen for people who give up. Comebacks happen for the ones who keep swinging, even when their hands are bleeding. Comebacks are earned by people who keep walking when their legs are shaking, who keep climbing even when the path disappears. The middle is messy. The middle is lonely. The middle is where most people tap out. That's where the doubt creeps in, where the pain starts screaming, where the progress feels invisible. It's that place where your emotions are louder than your vision, where your past mistakes feel heavier than your future promise. But hear me, the middle is where champions are made. Everybody can start. Anybody can get excited on day one. Anybody can make a post about it. Anybody can talk about what they're gonna do. But when it stops being fun, when it stops being fast, when nobody's clapping anymore, that's when most people stop. That's when they quit. Oh, but not you. Not this time. Not if you want that comeback. You think it's supposed to feel good? You think it's supposed to be convenient? No, a comeback is violent. It's bloody. It's hard. You're trying to reverse momentum. You're trying to turn a fall into a flight. That doesn't happen with comfort. That doesn't happen with ease. That takes resilience. That takes discipline. That takes the kind of faith. That takes the kind of faith that refuses to die in the middle of the story. And that's why most people never get the comeback, because they let the middle break them instead of letting the middle build them. You've got to outlast the middle. That's it. That's the key. You don't need to be more talented. You don't need to be smarter. You don't need better timing. You just need to last. You need to refuse to quit. You need to wake up every day and say, I don't care how long it takes. I'm not done until I finish. You got to stop starting over. Stop resetting every time it gets hard. Finish something. Push through something. Let the pressure refine you instead of define you. That middle, that ugly space between where you started and where you're trying to go, that's the territory of greatness. That's where you develop grit. That's where you earn confidence. Not because it's easy, but because you faced it and didn't quit. Some of you keep asking, why is it so hard? It's hard because it's working. Growth is painful. Change is painful. Staying committed is painful. But quitting is permanent, and that pain lasts way longer. That regret will follow you for years. But the pain of pushing through, that pain leads to glory. That pain turns into power. There's something about refusing to quit that changes who you are. It rewires your brain. You go from wishing to working, from hoping to hustling, from watching to walking. You stop looking for rescue and start building your own ladder out of the pit. You start realizing, if I can survive this middle, there's nothing on the other side that can break me. That's how confidence is born. That's how comebacks are made. Not through shortcuts, not through magic, through consistency in the chaos. You gotta stop playing with this thing. Stop being casual with your comeback. This isn't a hobby. This is your life, your legacy, your calling. You can't keep quitting halfway through and expecting life to give you full blessings. You can't keep pausing your purpose because it doesn't feel good right now. You've got to see it through. If you start it, finish it. If you commit, deliver. Nobody's handing you a second chance. You got to fight for it. And that fight is one lost in the middle. You think comeback stories are written at the top? No, they're written in the dirt, in the trenches, in the night you cried yourself to sleep, but got up anyway. In the days where everything in you said stop, but you didn't. That's the story people remember, not that you started. Not that you had potential, but that you refused to quit. That you were willing to go through the fire and come out better on the other side. So here's the truth. The middle might be long. It might be painful. It might be unfair. But if you just don't quit, you will win. If you just don't quit, you'll turn that setback into the exact thing that built your breakthrough. All that pain will become purpose. All that pressure will produce power. But none of that can happen if you stop now. You're closer than you think. The finish line isn't around the corner, it's straight through the middle. Keep going. You think the world is gonna hand you success because you're special? Because you've got a gift? Let me tell you, gifts mean nothing if you don't show up. Talent is wasted every single day by people who don't know how to grind. People who do it when they feel good. People who only show up when it's easy, when it's sunny, when their emotions line up. That's not the formula. The formula is, I show up tired. I show up discouraged. I show up heartbroken. I show up broke, but I still show up. That's consistency. That's the currency of champion. You want to separate yourself from the pack? Be consistent. Not flashy, not dramatic, just consistent. Show up every day like your life depends on it, because it does. You can't control what the world throws at you, but you can control what you do every day. You can control how many hours you study, how many reps you put in, how early you get up, how late you stay locked in. That's where the power is, not in your petition. I see so many people fall in love with talent. They're addicted to highlights, obsessed with the one moment of glory. But success ain't about the highlight. It's about the grind behind it. It's not what you do one time. It's what you do every time. You can't win with a one-time effort. You can't build greatness with a one-time push. You build it brick by brick, day by day. No shortcuts, no skips. You show up when it's boring. You show up when it's slow. You show up when nobody's watching. That's when it counts the most. When the cameras are off and the applause is gone. Everybody wants the results. Everybody wants to hold the trophy. But nobody wants to commit to the repetition, to the structure, to the lifestyle. You gotta fall in love with the process. You gotta get addicted to showing up. It's not sexy, it's not always exciting, but that's the truth. Consistency eats talent for breakfast. Every time, talent is a spark. Consistency is the flame that never goes out. I wasn't the smartest. I didn't come from wealth. I didn't have everything figured out, but I was hungry. And I was faithful to the grind. I didn't do everything perfect, but I did it every day. That's how I got here. That's how anybody gets here. You build it in the dark, in silence, in repetition, in routine, when nobody's cheering, when it feels like nothing's happening, when it feels like you're failing. That's when you're actually building. It doesn't feel like success, but that's what it is. One more rep, one more chapter, one more day, and then you do it again. The difference between the average and the great: the average stop, the great repeat. The average wait to feel ready. The great show up anyway. The average work when it's convenient. The great work until it's complete. It's that mindset, that commitment, that consistency. You got to make it part of who you are. Not something you do, something you live. You don't try to be consistent. You decide to be. You lock in. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop needing motivation. You show up out of respect for your future. You want to be successful? Start with your habits. What are you doing every day that brings you closer to your goals? Every single day that reflects who you say you want to be. You can have all the goals in the world, but if your habits don't match, it's just a wish. You say you want it, but do your actions prove it? You say you're committed, but are you consistent? That's the difference. Success doesn't come to the person who works hard once. It comes to the person who works hard every day, even on the days they don't feel like it, especially on those days. Anybody can do it when it's easy. What separates the few is how they act when it's hard. You wake up tired, you still get after it. You don't see results, you stay the course. That's discipline. That's consistency. That's how you win. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need the best start. You need to be relentlessly consistent. Get up, show up, do the work. Then do it again, day after day. That's where success lives. In the daily, not the dramatic. Not in the explosion, but in the repetition. It's not about who shines brightest. It's about who lasts longest. Everybody's looking for a new door, a new chance, a new moment, a new opportunity. But you don't need new. You need focus. You need execution. You need to stop looking around for what's next and stop mastering what's right in front of you. People think opportunity is something that comes knocking, but the truth is, it's usually already in the room. and you're too distracted or too ungrateful to see it. You're praying for something new, asking for God to open a door. And God is saying, I already gave you the room. I already gave you the gift. I already gave you the space. Now do something with it. But you're looking at what someone else has. You're watching someone else's path, comparing your chapter 2 with their chapter 20, and now you think you need a new opportunity just to catch up. No, what you need is to go all in on the opportunity you already got. The problem is in your lack of chances. The problem is your lack of commitment to the chance you already have. You haven't maximized it. You haven't mastered it. You haven't squeezed the juice out of the opportunity. You want more, but you haven't honored what you already received. You want better, but you haven't shown up at your best. In life doesn't give more to people who want more. It gives more to people who do more with what they've got. You've been given something. I don't care if it's small. I don't care if it doesn't look like much to others. I don't care if it's not where you thought you'd be. You got something, a job, a school, a team, a platform, a business, a talent, a skill, a relationship, something. And if you would just stop complaining about what is not and start working with what it is, you'd be amazed at how far it could take you. It's not about waiting for perfect. It's about being faithful with the imperfect. It's about being great right where you are. Stop thinking you need a bigger stage. Stop waiting for someone to discover you. Stop looking for a better coach, a better crowd, a better system. Start building with what's in your hands. You've been given a seed. Now plant it, water it, protect it, and work it until it grows. You don't need someone to hand you the fruit. You need to start growing your own tree. I've seen people beg for blessings while ignoring the one they're already sitting in. They say, I need a new job, but they show up late to the one they had. They say, I need a better opportunity, but they give 50% effort where they are now. They say, if I had what they had, I'd go hard. No, if you won't go hard in a small moment, you won't go hard in a small moment. You won't go hard in a big one either. If you can't handle the pressure of where you are now, you won't survive what's next. You don't grow into the next level by skipping steps. You earn your way there through maximizing the level you're at. I'm not telling you to settle. I'm not telling you to stop dreaming. I'm saying dream big, but work even bigger where you are. Treat the opportunity you have like it's everything you ever wanted. Treat the small platform like it's a stadium. Treat the job nobody respects like it's the gateway to your future. Treat every moment like it matters, because it does. Every rep, every conversation, every piece of effort is part of the foundation. And if you keep laying bricks, keep showing up, keep maximizing, guess what? That new door you're waiting for, it won't open. Too many people are chasing shiny things, new projects, new paths. But they don't finish anything. They don't stay rooted. They hop from opportunity to opportunity, chasing the feeling instead of chasing the result. That's not how legacies are built. Legacies are built by going deep, not wide. By becoming excellent in one thing before jumping to the next. By mastering the assignment you've been given, not abandoning it the moment it feels tough or boring. It's easy to fantasize about what could be. It's harder to do the work with what is. But that's where the breakthrough lives, in the daily discipline of showing up for what you already had. You don't need someone to come save you. You don't need a magic door to appear. You don't need a lucky break. You need to decide that this opportunity right here, right now, this is the one you're going to make count. You're going to go all in. No more halfway, no more halfway, no more waiting, no more wishing. Everything you need to get to the next level is already inside you or around you. But you got to activate it. You got to wake up and say, I'm done wasting potential. I'm done chasing something new. I'm about to turn this little into a lot. I'm about to flip this current situation into the opportunity of a lifetime. And when you do that, when you go all in with what you got, that's when life starts to hand you more. Because life rewards those who show up, not those who sit around waiting for better. Pain is not your enemy. Stop running from it. Stop thinking something's gone wrong just because you're hurting. Pain doesn't mean the story's over. It means you're in the middle of becoming. It means you're in the process. And the process is never clean. It's never clean. It's uncomfortable. It breaks you. It humbles you. It exposes your weakness. But it's also the birthplace of strength. It's where champions are born. You can't pray the pain away. You gotta avoid it. You gotta go through it. You gotta embrace it. Because pain is not the end. It's a doorway. It's a passage. It's part of your comeback. Every setback you've gone through, every sleepless night, every tear, every loss is shaping you. It's developing something inside of you that success never could. I'm talking about resilience. I'm talking about grit. I'm talking about the kind of faith that can't be shaken. You don't build that in comfort. You build it in pain. You build it in struggle. You build it when everything in your body is screaming quit. And your soul whispers back to keep going. You build it when the odds are against you, but you decide you're not going to lay down. You're going to stand. You're going to fight. You're going to grow. See, we think pain is punishment, but pain is not punishment. It's preparation. It's development. It's refinement. When life hurts, when it presses on you, when it seems like everything's falling apart, that's when the real work is happening. That's when the shell breaks and the seed begins to grow. You don't see the fruit. You don't see the fruit yet. You don't feel the progress. But deep down inside, something's changing. You're being forged. You're being trained. You're being made into the person you were always meant to become. And listen, I know it hurts. I know you're tired. I know you got days where you feel like giving up. But don't you dare stop now. Don't you dare let pain convince you this is the end. This is not your breaking point. It's your turning point. Pain is trying to teach you something. Pain is trying to stretch you, trying to grow you, trying to prepare you for what you said you wanted. You said you wanted to be great. You said you wanted to be successful. You said you wanted to change your life. Well, this is the cost. This is the process. And if you want the reward, you got to endure the refining. You don't get to skip the pain. You don't get to fast forward to the finish line. You earn it. You suffer for it. You fight for it. And what you build in that pain, nobody can take that from you. That mindset, that strength, that heart, that's yours. And it was born in fire. You didn't just read about it. You didn't hear about it. You lived it. You went through hell and came out with the heaven inside you. That's what makes you unstoppable. People want success, but they don't want pain. They want growth, but they don't want discomfort. They want the outcome, but they don't want the sacrifice. It doesn't work like that. You've got to earn your story. You've got to bleed for your breakthrough. You've got to take the pain and make it mean something. You can't waste it. You can't numb it, ignore it, or pretend it's not happening. You got to feel every ounce of it and then use it. Use it to drive you. Use it to remind you why you started. Use it to fuel your fire when motivation dies. Some of you are in the middle of your pain right now. You feel lost. You feel broken. You feel like giving up. But I'm here to tell you, this is not the end. This is just the middle. This is the part where you find out what you're really made of. This is the part where you stop talking about faith and start walking in. This is the part where your strength is no longer potential. It's proof. You've been through too much to quit. You've come too far to fold. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to stop here. You've got to reframe the pain. Instead of asking her why me, start asking her what's this trying to build in me. Instead of seeing it as a roadblock, see it as a requirement. You're not the only one hurting. Everybody who's ever done something great had to walk through pain to get there. But they didn't let it stop them. They used it. They found purpose in it. They let it grow them. And you can do the same. So the next time pain shows up, when life hits you with something you didn't ask for, when your plans fall apart, when your heart breaks, don't panic. Don't retreat, stand up. Breathe and remind yourself, this is part of the process. This is part of the journey. This is not how the story ends. This is where it deepens. This is where you rise. This is where you rise. This is where you show yourself in the world that pain may visit, but it doesn't own you. It may shake you, but it won't stop you because you're built for this. You were built for this. I need you to hear that. Not just with your ears, but with your soul. You were built for this storm, this struggle, this mountain, this setback, this season. You were built for it. You don't need to go looking for something extra. You don't need to borrow strength from anybody else. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You've already got everything inside of you that you need to survive, to overcome, and to dominate. It's in your DNA. You keep waiting for someone to tell you you're qualified, but I came to tell you, you already are. You were born qualified. You were born with greatness in your bones. It's been there since day one. The problem is life tried to make you forget. Life tried to make you believe you were ordinary. It tried to bury your belief under disappointment, under failure, under trauma. But just because it's been buried doesn't mean it's gone. Just because you've been bruised doesn't mean you're broken. The strength is still there. The power is still there. You were built for this. Everything you've gone through, the pain, the rejection, the loss, the betrayal, it didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal you. You think you're weak because you cried, because you failed, because you struggled. No, those aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of humanity. And through all of it, you're still standing. That's not weakness, that's proof. That's evidence. That's greatness in motion. You didn't just survive. You endured. You didn't just make it through. You leveled up. And you're not done yet. Stop talking yourself out of what you were born to do. Stop telling yourself you're not enough. Stop shrinking when it's time to shine. You weren't built to play small. You weren't built to settle. You weren't built to hide behind excuses and fear. You were built to lead, to rise, to create, to inspire. You were built to get back up, to take hits and keep going, to take losses and turn them into lessons, to take pain and turn it into purpose. But you can't access that greatness until you believe it's in you. I don't care what your past looks like. I don't care who doubted you. I don't care what family you come from or what school you went to. I don't care if you failed before. Greatness isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, about refusing to stay down when life knocks you over. Knocks you over. It's about showing up every single day like your life depends on it. Because it does. You keep looking around, comparing yourself to others, thinking they have something you don't. Let me break it to you, they don't. The only difference between someone who's walking in greatness and someone who isn't is that one of them believed it and did something with it. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about decision. It's about ownership. The moment you decide to stop playing the victim and start acting like the warrior you are, that's the moment everything changes. You were built for adversity. You were built to endure pressure. Pressure doesn't crush you. It reveals you. Diamonds are made under pressure. Legends are made in the fire. You want a life of greatness, but you're running from the very thing that makes it possible. You're trying to avoid struggle when the struggle is exactly where your strength gets built. Stop asking for easy. Stop asking for easy. Start asking for discipline. Start asking for vision. Start asking for the mindset that doesn't crack under chaos. Your greatness isn't in the future. It's in the fight. It's in every decision you make when nobody's watching. It's in how you show up when you don't feel like it. It's in how you speak to yourself when doubt starts to whisper. You've got to silence that voice that said, I can't. You've got to strangle that fear that keeps telling you, you're not ready. Because the truth is, you are ready. You've been ready. You've been ready. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the belief that you're not. You were built with purpose. You were built with potential. You were built with power. You just forgot. Life hit you many times. People spoke death over your dreams too many times. But it's time to wake up. It's time to rise. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be worth it. I'm saying if you'll just keep walking, if you'll just keep grinding, if you'll just keep trusting that what's in you is greater than what's around you, you will come out on top. You were not built to lose. You were not built to quit. You were not built to live average. You were not built to let fear write your story. You were built to overcome, built to shine, built to impact the world around you. So stop sleeping on yourself. Stop doubting your strength. Stand up and walk like someone who knows what's inside them. Talk like someone who knows they were designed for greatness. Move like someone who understands that nothing life throws at you can stop what God already put in you. Stop what God already put in you, because you were built for this. You didn't choose the pain. You didn't ask for the setback. You didn't sign up for the betrayal, the loss, the failure, the heartbreak. That's real. Let's be clear. What happened to you was unfair. You didn't deserve it. You weren't looking for it. Life came at you hard and it wasn't your fault. But now that you're here, now that the storm already hit, now that the damage is done, what are you going to do with it, You can't rewind the clock. You can't unlive the moment. But what you can do is respond. You don't get to choose every chapter that life writes, but you do get to decide how the story ends. You don't get to avoid every scar, but you decide whether the scar becomes a symbol of shame or a symbol of survival. That power is in your hands. Not your enemy, not your enemies. not your haters, not your past, not your trauma, yours. Your power is not in controlling the event. It's in controlling the reaction. See, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. That's what separates the people who rise from the ones who remain stuck. Both groups got hit. Both groups felt pain. But one group decided they weren't going to let the pain define them. They weren't going to let the pain make them bitter, weak, hopeless. They turned the pain into purpose. They took control of the one thing they had left, their response. You've got to stop giving your power away. Stop blaming. Stop pointing fingers. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, they lied. Yes, they walked away. But now what? Are you going to stay there? Are you going to let them keep controlling your peace, your progress, your destiny? Or are you going to take the hit, wipe the blood from your face, and keep moving? Every time you respond with strength, you take the power back. Every time you refuse to let a situation change who you are at your core, you rise. No, it doesn't mean you don't feel it. It doesn't mean you don't cry. It doesn't mean you don't wrestle with the weight of it. But what it does mean is that you don't let the situation turn you into someone you're not. You don't let the pain keep you from the promise. You don't let the storm convince you the sun's never coming back. Control what you can control. You can't control what people say. You can't control the economy. You can't control the diagnosis. You can't control how others treat you. But you can control how you speak to yourself. You can control what you choose to focus on. You can control whether you stay down or get up. You can control the effort you give today. You can control the attitude you walk in. That's your power. That's your responsibility. And don't get it twisted. Choosing your response is not weakness. It's not avoidance. Strength. It's mastery. It takes discipline to respond with grace when everything in you wants to react with rage. It takes power to respond with focus when life throws distraction after distraction your way. Anybody can react. Anybody can explode. Anybody can blame. But real strength, real leadership, that's found in the one who stands in the middle of chaos and chooses character over comfort, chooses progress over pity, chooses future over failure. The enemy wants you to live in reaction. He wants you constantly triggered, constantly emotional, constantly playing defend. Because if he can control your response, he can control your destiny. But the moment you pause, the moment you breathe, reflect, choose wisdom over impulse, that's the moment you take the pen back and start writing your own outcome. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of what happened. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are the author of your next move. You are the creator of your comeback. But it starts with a decision to stop waiting for life to be fair and start building your future, no matter what. A decision to say it happened, but it won't hold me. A decision to rise, to grow, to heal, to move. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's necessary. I'm saying your life depends on it. I'm saying your kids, your legacy, your purpose, they're all waiting on you to respond in power, not in fear, not in defeat, in power. You want peace. It starts with your response. You want freedom? Start mastering your response. You want growth, healing, restoration, greatness? It all starts with the choice you make when life hits. You can let life make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. You can let setbacks make you a victim, or you can let them make you a warrior. But either way, it's your move. They had their moment. Life, the setback, the pain. But now it's your moment. What are you going to do with it? Faith and vision. That's the bridge. That's what carries you from where you are to where you're supposed to be. You may not be there yet, and that's okay. You may not have the degree, the bank account, the opportunity, the applause, but doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you got work to do. It means you need to lean on what you can't see yet. It means you got to walk by vision, not by sight. Sight shows you what is. Vision shows you what could be. Faith tells you to keep going even when everything around you says stop. See, some of you are standing on the edge of your destiny, but you won't move. Not because you can't, but because you won't trust what you don't see. You're waiting to feel ready, waiting for a sign, waiting for proof before you step. But real winners don't wait on proof. They move on belief. They don't wait for clarity. They create clarity. They don't wait until everything's lined up. They line themselves up with the calling and take the leap. The truth is, if you could already see the whole path, it wouldn't require faith. If it made perfect sense, it wouldn't require vision. But that's not how breakthroughs work. That's not how greatness is born. You've got to get this. Your current situation is not your final destination. Where you are right now does not define you. It's just part of the journey. It's just part of the journey. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with resources. It's filled with faith. It's not filled with luck. It's filled with vision. If you can't see it for yourself, how can anybody else? If you don't believe in your dream enough to fight for it, sacrifice for it, lose sleep for it, then don't expect it to manifest. Because everything starts in the mind. Everything starts in the heart. What you see internally is what you'll eventually hold externally, but you gotta see it first. The world will tell you, be realistic, play it safe, take the easy route. But vision doesn't care about comfort. Faith doesn't bow to fear. You gotta be willing to go when it's hard, when it doesn't make sense, when you got more questions than answers. When people laugh, doubt, criticize, when your own mind is screaming, what if I fail? That's where faith steps in. That's where vision carries you. That's where the bridge is built, one step at a time. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel confident. But vision doesn't need your feelings. It needs your discipline. Faith doesn't require you to understand everything. It requires you to move anyway. That's how champions are made. Not because they had all the answers, but because they moved when it was dark. They spoke life when everything around them felt dead. They declared greatness over their lives when all they could see was failure. They kept walking because they believed. They had a vision that was bigger than their circumstances. And some of you, you had that vision once. You used to dream. You used to believe, but life hit you. Circumstances change, people let you down, and now you stop looking ahead. You're staring at the ground. You're focused on what's in front of you instead of what's ahead of you. But I'm telling you, lift your head, refocus. Get your vision back. Get your faith back. Because what's in front of you is temporary, but what's ahead of you is eternal. What's ahead of you is the reason you're still breathing. You gotta build that bridge with your words, your thoughts, your daily actions. You gotta wake up and speak it, even if you don't see it. I'm powerful. I'm focused. I am built for this. I'm going somewhere. You gotta remind yourself every single day where you're headed, even when the path is foggy. You don't have to know all the steps. You just need to take one. And then another. And then another. That's faith. That's vision. You're waiting for it to get easier, but faith isn't about ease. It's about ease. It's about enduring. Vision doesn't remove the obstacles. It gives you the strength to outlast them. When people quit, you push. When doors close, you knock louder. When plans fall apart, you pivot with purpose. Because you know where you're going. You've seen it. You've declared it. You've claimed it. And you won't stop until it's yours. Let them call you crazy. Let them call you obsessed. Let them call you unrealistic. But when you cross that bridge, when you walk into everything you said you would, the same people who doubted will ask how you did it. And you'll tell them, I saw it before I had it. I believed before I became it. I walked on faith when I had nothing else. Because the truth is, I was never walking alone. Faith was with me, vision was guiding me, and purpose was pulling me the whole time. You want to shine, but you don't want to grind. You want the results, but you're allergic to the work. Let me tell you something. There's no shine without grind. There's no glory without the grind. Everybody wants to be successful until they see what it costs. Everybody wants the lifestyle until they realize the price tag is sacrifice, discipline, and consistency. But the real ones, the champion, they understand that what you do right now is what determines what you live later. You don't get what you dream about. You get what you grind for. There are no shortcuts to greatness. There are no just to success. You have to take the stairs, one step at a time, one sacrifice at a time, one early morning, one late night, one rip, one page, one decision, one prayer at a time. That's how you build the life you say you want. You've got to understand the grind isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's the process that turns ordinary into unstoppable. And if you skip the process, you forfeit the promise. You're not always going to feel like doing the work. But that's why it's called the grind. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Champions don't train when it's convenient. They train because it's necessary. You don't show up just when it's easy. You show up when it's hard, when you're tired. When you're tired, when nobody's clapping for you. when nobody's watching. That's when the real growth happens. That's when the seeds of greatness are planted, in the silence, in the dark, in the unseen hours. And if you can stay locked in through that season, your future self will thank you. See, the problem is too many people want harvest with no planting. They want blessing with no sacrifice. They want success with no sweat. But the game doesn't work like that. You don't get to skip Monday through Saturday and show up to win on Sunday. You don't get the spotlight until you master the shadows. You gotta earn it with your time, with your focus, with your grind. Every time you hit snooze, you push your dreams further away. Every time you procrastinate, you tell your future self, I'm not willing to fight for you. Every time you take the easy road, you make your future heavier. But every time you show up, every time you say no to distraction, every time you get up when you could have stayed down, you're telling your future self, I've got you. I'm building something for you. I'm laying the foundation brick by brick. Don't let temporary comfort rob you of permanent greatness. Don't trade what you want most for you want right now. That's the trick. That's how average wins, by convincing you to settle for less today and regret it tomorrow. But you're not average. You weren't built to settle. You were built to grind. You were built to outlast. You were built to sacrifice today so you can shine tomorrow. That shine you see on others, that success, that influence, that impact, that didn't come overnight. You're seeing the highlight reel, but you didn't see the hustle. You didn't see the tears. You didn't see the early mornings, the lonely nights, the relentless commitment to the dream. And now it's your turn. It's your season. Not to shine yet, but to grind, to dig deep, to be relentless in your discipline, to get up earlier, to stay locked in longer, to outwork your old self. Because the truth is you're not competing with anybody else. You're competing with the you that keeps trying to quit. Grind now, shine later. That's the rule. That's the formula. That's the principle. And it doesn't lie. You put in the work now, you will reap the reward later. You sacrifice now, you'll celebrate later. You stay faithful now, you'll be favored later. But you've got to believe in delayed gratification. You've got to trust the process. And more than that, you've got to fall in love with it. You got to love the days that feel like they don't count. Because those are the days that count the most. There will be days when no one believes in you. Days when it feels like you're making no progress. Days when you question everything. And it's on those days that the grind matters most. Because that's when your character is forged. That's when your future self is being built. You want to know what success feels like. It feels like waking up years from now and thanking yourself for not quitting today. It feels like looking in the mirror and realizing you're standing in the exact life you once prayed for because you were willing to grind when it wasn't guaranteed. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. And the grind is what proves you're serious. So stop waiting. Stop wishing. Stop hoping somebody else will do it for you. Put your head down and work. Do it tired. Do it scared. Do it unsure. Do it broke. Just don't stop, because the you 5 years from now is watching. And they're counting on you to push, to persevere, to not fold under pressure. They're counting on you to build a life that they'll be proud to wake up to. Grind now, shine later. Your future self is waiting, and they're ready to thank you. You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to yourself to stop playing small. You owe it to yourself to get up every single day, give everything you've got, not for applause, not for attention, not to prove anything to anyone else, but because you were put here for a purpose, because you are responsible for the gift you've been given, because you are accountable for the time you have left on this earth. You don't get to waste another year waiting for permission. You don't get to sit around talking about what you could be, what you might do, what you hope will happen one day. Enough talk, enough delay, enough excuses. It's time to execute. Because you owe it to yourself to find out what happens when you stop holding back, when you stop hiding behind fear, when you stop letting the past define your future. You owe it to yourself to see what's on the other side of discipline, the other side of commitment, the other side of everything you've been running from. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to push you every day. That's on you. It's your dream, your life, your legacy. So why are you treating it like it belongs to somebody else? Why are you waiting for someone to validate you when you were already born with value? You owe it to yourself to honor the vision inside you. to stop disrespecting your potential, to stop living like your time is unlimited, because it's not. One day, the clock runs out, and the question won't be what they thought of you. The question will be, did you become who you were born to be? You owe it to the younger version of you, the one who had dreams before life got hard, the one who believed they could fly before they were told to settle. You owe it to the version of you that kept pushing when it didn't make sense, that kept going when they had nothing but faith. Don't let that young legend down. Don't betray the kid who believed. Don't tell them the struggle was for nothing. Make the pain mean something. Make the setback worth it. Use it all. Turn every loss into fuel. You owe it to your future self, the one who will either reap the benefits of your discipline or live in the consequences of your comfort, the one who will either wake up proud or wake up stuck. Right now, you are planting seeds every day with your choices. And one day, you're going to live in the harvest of what you're doing right now. You owe it to that future version of you to build something they can be proud of, something solid, something legendary. This ain't about talent. This ain't about resources. This ain't about luck. It's about ownership. It's about deciding that you are done blaming, done pointing fingers, done waiting for better circumstances. You make the circumstance better. You build the opportunity. You create the energy. You walk into the room and shift the atmosphere. Because when you know you owe it to yourself, you don't wait. You work. You grind. You sacrifice. You push past average. You separate yourself from the crowd. Why? Because average is free, but greatness costs. And you're willing to pay it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be worth it. I'm saying when you get to the top of that mountain, when you've given everything you had, and you know you didn't cheat yourself, that's the kind of peace you can't buy. And that's the kind of success that doesn't need validation. Because it came from inside. You didn't wait for anyone to believe in you. You believed in you. You decided to show up day after day, even when it hurt, even when it was lonely, even when it was dark. Because you owed it to yourself to finish what you started. You owe it to the people who never got a chance to see their greatness. The ones who left this world with their dreams still inside them. You're here. You're breathing. That means you still got work to do. That means you still got something left to give. You owe it to the people counting on you, watching you, being inspired by you, even when you don't know it. Your kids, your siblings, your friends, your community. They need to see someone win who came from where they came from. Someone who didn't quit. Someone who stayed locked in when it got hard. That someone is you. And let me be real. Nobody's going to hand you greatness. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, here, this is your legacy. You have to take it. You have to take it. You have to claim it. Every day you wake up, you have a decision to make. Stay the same or grow. Stay safe or sacrifice. Shrink or shine. You already know what happens if you don't try. So why not go all in? Why not give it everything you got while you still have time? Because the truth is, there's a version of you that's locked up inside. Powerful, focused, bold, disciplined, unshakable. But that version only comes out when you stop making excuses and start demanding more from yourself. That version doesn't respond to comfort. That version is activated by grit. You owe it to yourself to meet that version, to become that version, to unleash the greatness that's been hiding under fear, under doubt, under procrastination. You owe it to yourself to be legendary. You owe it to yourself to rise, not someday, now.